Welcome back to the deep dive.
Yeah.
You know, there's a very specific kind of buzz in the anime world that I just love. It's not that huge, like, shonen battle announcement. It's quieter. It's that hum when a teaser drops for something that feels just a little bit different.
A little bit cozy, maybe?
Cozy, but with a weird twist.
Yeah.
And today we are definitely tapping right into that frequency.
It's that feeling, isn't it? You see a premise and you think, okay, this is either going to be a complete train wreck or my new favorite comfort show.
Yes, exactly. And today, that buzz is all about the new teaser for Ichijoma Mankitsu Gurashi.
Which translates to living in a one-tatami room.
Living in a one-tatami room. I mean, usually when we sit down for a deep dive, we're talking about, world-ending stakes or huge fantasy epics.
Right.
But today we are zooming way, way in. We're talking about a living space that is roughly, 1.6 meters by 90 centimeters?
That is painfully specific.
Yeah.
And incredibly small.
It's tiny. But the excitement is surprisingly big. So here's the mission. This thing premieres in April 2026, so we're getting in early.
Planting the flag.
We're planting the flag. We're not just going to say it looks cute. We have the production notes, the staff, the manga history. We're going to unpack why a show about living in a closet inside a comic book store is generating so much excitement. We need to find the why.
And that why is so interesting because it sort of pushes back against the big trends, doesn't it? The source material calls it an introspective tale mixed with everyday humor.
That's a tricky balance to pull off.
It's incredibly difficult. You have to be genuinely funny, but also, true to the isolation of living in a box.
That's what grabbed me first. It's a heartwarming comedy. But the premise,
yeah.
I mean, if you frame it just a little differently, it sounds like a mild dystopian nightmare.
It really does.
But they seem to be framing it right. So let's start with the person at the center of all this. Who is signing the lease on this nook?
Her name is Meiko Morita. She's a second-year high school student. And her journey is, honestly, a tale as old as time. She's moving from the quiet countryside to the absolute chaos of Tokyo.
The classic country mouse comes to the big city.
Exact.
Which is such a great setup because the audience gets to learn the rules of the city right along with her. It's like instant grounding for the story. It's
a staple for a reason. But normally, that character moves into, a school dorm?
Yeah.
A relative's apartment?
Something normal, yeah.
Meiko Way is not doing that. She moves into a place called Hedgehog.
Hedgehog. And just to be clear for everyone, we're not talking about a petting zoo.
No. Hedgehog is a manga cafe, but it's a very specific kind. It's a manga cafe that also functions as a dormitory for girls.
Okay, let's pause on that, because when I hear manga cafe, I think of those places where you crash for a night because you missed the last train.
A bit utilitarian, sometimes a little gritty.
Right. You're there out of necessity.
Exactly. And there's a whole social issue in Japan, the Met Cafe refugees, people who live in them long-term because they can't afford rent. It's usually a story of hardship.
But this show is flipping that. It's taking that reality and reframing it. The source material calls it comic-filled joy.
And that's the aha moment.
It's not a cage. It's a cocoon. It's a tatami-lined nook. And let's be honest, if you were a teenager who could live inside a massive library of comics, would you trade some square footage for that?
A lot of us would at least be tempted, I think. It's the ultimate introvert fantasy, and that's the hook. But we do have to talk about the size, one-tatami.
Right. How big is one-tatami, Matt? Really, we hear the term a lot.
It's about 1.62 square meters, or around 18 square feet.
18 square feet. I'm looking at my desk right now. It's basically a desk.
It's basically a booth. You can lie down. You can't really stretch out. There's no kitchen, no bathroom in there. It's a sleeping pod with walls literally made of books.
Which has to force a very specific kind of storytelling, right?
It has to.
You can't have like a big party scene in there. All the action has to be internal.
Exactly. It forces the story inward, which is why the notes call it introspective. Your inner monologue gets a lot louder when you're physically contained like that.
And it highlights that tension. You're alone in this little box, but you're also in a building packed with other people.
Right. Which brings us to the eclectic group of characters that the teaser mentions. You have to leave the room eventually.
To brush your teeth, to eat.
And that forces the social interaction. In a normal apartment, you could ignore your neighbors for weeks. Here, you're basically living in what sociologists call a third place.
A third place.
Yeah.
It's like a coffee shop or a park.
Right.
Not home, not work.
Exactly. But for Meiko, her home is the third place. The boundaries are just gone. She lives in the public square, in a way.
Cozy chaos.
Yeah.
I kind of love that. Okay, but let's talk foundation. This is based on a manga, right?
It is. It's from an artist named Kumako Hisama, and it's been serialized in Manga Time Kirara magazine since back in December 2018.
Whoa, okay. Manga Time Kirara. For
Yeah.
anyone who follows Slice of Life, that name is a huge deal.
It's massive. Kira is basically the home of cute girls doing cute things. We're talking K-On! Bocchi the Rock.
Cool Life.
School Live, yeah. And that context is so important.
Because Kira titles are never just fluff. Boki is about crippling social anxiety. School Live is, well, it's a zombie apocalypse horror show disguised as a cute school club anime.
Precisely. They use that cute, safe aesthetic to explore really deep, genuine character stories, so the fact that this has been running there since 2018 with 4 published volumes...
It tells you it has substance.
Yeah.
And it has an audience.
And from a production standpoint, it means there's plenty of material to draw from. That's a direct quote from the notes.
Thank goodness. So we're not going to get an anime original ending where aliens show up?
Probably not. The story's already there. They can just focus on adapting it well.
Okay, so the source is solid, but who's actually making the anime? Because when I saw the staff list, I did a double take.
It's a surprisingly aggressive team for a cozy show like this.
Right.
The director is Toshinori Watanabe.
Watanabe. Okay, what's the big title on his resume?
Tokyo Ghoul.
Tokyo Ghoul. The flesh-eating psychological horror action series.
That's the one.
Okay. Help me make sense of that pivot. We're going from, grimdark urban fantasy to a girl in a manga booth. Is this a mismatch? Or is it genius?
I think it might be genius. Think about what directing Tokyo Ghoul actually requires.
Tension. Managing a dark tone.
Tension, yes, but also intense internal conflict. A feeling of isolation. Of being completely overwhelmed by the city you're in.
Oh, that's a really good point. Hadn't thought of it like that.
Watanabe has seasoned expertise, as the notes say, in showing characters who feel small and alone against a huge, chaotic backdrop. He's the perfect person to direct the introspective half of this story.
He knows how to handle the quiet moments.
Exactly. And he's not alone. The series composition is by Tatsuya Takahashi, who is a total veteran.
He knows how to structure a season.
And then for the visuals, character designs are by Fumiya Uehara.
Uehara? That's a visual novel name, isn't it? Nine Rulers Crown.
Yes, exactly. And think about what visual novel designs have to do.
They have to be super expressive, right?
Yeah.
Because the characters are mostly static. All the emotion comes from the face.
Spot on. The eyes, the micro-expressions, they do all the heavy lifting. Now apply that to Meiko, sitting in her little box. We're going to get a lot of close-ups on her face. You need a designer who can convey a whole story with just a blush.
So we've got the atmosphere director, the expressive character designer. What about the sound? The notes called it an auditory delight.
The music is by Manaka.
No way, really.
Yeah.
Manaka as in the Nair games. Bakemonogatari.
The very same. Founded by Keiichi Okabe, they're legends.
That feels like bringing a bazooka to a knife fight.
Yeah.
The best possible way.
It really signals how seriously they're taking the heartwarming part of this. Manaka's music creates such a rich emotional landscape. It's going to make those quiet moments in that tiny room feel huge and cinematic.
So this isn't some throwaway seasonal show for them. They're bringing in the A-team. They want this to be a sleeper hit.
It really seems that way. This team suggests they're aiming for very high production values.
Okay, let's talk about the teaser itself. What did we actually see? The notes described it as splashy.
Splashy is a great word for it. You'd think a show about a tiny room would look, well, drab.
Or cramped.
Right. But the artwork they showed was incredibly colorful, the animations were dynamic. It seems like they're creating a big contrast between her small personal space and the vibrant city outside.
So Tokyo looks bright and exciting.
It looks very appealing, yeah. It captures that slice-of-life vibe that fans of the genre are really going to connect with.
But the teaser also sets up the core conflict. The notes pose the question, will Meiko thrive? Or will she find herself longing for the simplicity of her countryside roots?
And that's the engine of the whole story, isn't it? Will she make it?
It's so relatable. You don't have to live in a manga cafe to get that feeling.
Not at all. Anyone who's moved to a new city or even just started a new school, you know that feeling.
That whiplash, yeah. One minute you're so excited about all the possibilities, and the next you're just overwhelmed and you want your old bedroom back.
It's that feeling of I am the main character of a great story versus I am very small and I don't know where to buy milk.
Exactly. And by putting her in this specific setting, it feels like the show is asking another question. Can pop culture itself be your anchor?
What do you mean by that? Well, she's away from her family, her old friends. but she's literally surrounded by stories she loves, by comics. The show seems to be exploring whether that shared hobby, that comfort of a familiar story, can be a home while you're trying to build a new one.
Can a hobby become a home? That's a really lovely way to put it.
Or at least the foundation for one. The teaser shows her with the other residents, and they're all brought together by this space and this shared interest.
I noticed the source material used the word whimsical, which I think is important.
Yes.
Despite the Tokyo Ghoul director, we're not getting a gritty, realistic look at poverty.
Absolutely not. The official marketing line is that updates will flow like a well-deserved cup of matcha.
I love that line. It tells you exactly what this show wants to be. It's a break, a palate cleanser.
A 24-minute retreat from whatever else is going on.
Okay, so let's recap for everyone listening. We're tracking Ichijoma Mankitsu Gurashi. It premieres April 2026.
Mark your calendars.
The premise. High schooler Meiko Morita moves to Tokyo and lives in an 18-square-foot booth in a manga cafe dorm called Hedgehog.
A tatami-lined nook, if you will.
With an all-star staff, we've got director Toshinori Watanabe for atmosphere, Fumiya Uhara for expressive characters, and Monaka on music.
A formidable team. It's the cute premise backed by serious competence.
And a solid source material from Manga Time Kirara, so the story's already proven itself.
Right. It's a world that's charmed readers, and now it has the budget to charm viewers.
I am completely sold. I'm ready to check into Hedgehog. Anyone who wants to see the visuals for themselves, the notes say to check the official TV anime homepage.
And we'll have a link for that in the show notes for you.
Now, before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final thought to chew on. We talked a lot about the size of this room, one tatami.
A very small number.
A tiny number. But Meiko is surrounded by this eclectic group of people and, thousands of stories on the shelves. She's physically cramped, but her social and mental world might be huge.
Right.
So here's the question for you. In a world where housing gets smaller and more expensive, and we spend more time in these third places, what is home?
That's the real question the show is asking, isn't it?
Is home the physical space you rent, that one tatami mat? Or is it the community you build, the interests you share? Can you actually be at home in a public space?
It challenges our whole idea that you need privacy to feel comfortable. Maybe connection is the real comfort.
Deep thoughts for a show about a girl reading manga in a box. But hey, that's why we do the deep dive.
It is indeed.
Thanks for listening to our breakdown of Ichijoma Mankitsu Gurashi. Keep an eye out for April 2026. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.